Hey everybody, today we're going to make a cake. We're going to make a devil's food cake. And guess what? We're going to make it all in one bowl and you have all of the ingredients in your kitchen. It is one of my husband's favorite cakes. So I'm going to surprise him. And I'm going to put a boiled icing on mine. You can put any kind you want. You can put a chocolate icing or just any kind you want. But I'm going to put a boiled icing on mine. So let me tell you how we're going to make the layers. First of all, we're going to put it all in one bowl. And you can mix it up with a spoon, or you can use your electric mixer. I'm going to use my electric mixer. I'm starting out with 1.5 cups of cake flour. Now that's different to what we normally use. We normally use all-purpose or self-rising, but this is 1.5 cups of sifted cake flour, and I sifted it and then I measured. I'm using 1.25 cups of white granulated sugar. 1.25 cups white granulated sugar. 1/2 cup of cocoa. 1/2 cup of cocoa. 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda. 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar and 1 teaspoon of salt. And that's all of our dry ingredients. And I'm going to put them in my sifter all together. I'm going to sift them in my bowl. And then I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of solid shortening. 2/3 of a cup of solid shortening. I'll be using 1 cup of sweet milk. Sweet milk is whole milk. That's all that it is, whole milk. 2 eggs, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And that's all that we need to make these cake layers. So let's get busy and get it all put together and pop it in that oven. Okay, we're ready to start mixing our cake, and this is going to be so simple. I have sifted all of my dry ingredients together and placed them in my mixing bowl, and today I'm using my stand mixer. And now I'm placing our solid shortening in, and I'm going to add about 2/3 of this cup of milk. So you just pour it all in there together. So I'm going to save about 1/3 to add after we mix this these first ingredients together. And I'm going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of vanilla. So we're going to start mixing this up. Let me lower it right here and turn it on, and I'm going to mix this for about 2 minutes. So once I get it started mixing, I'm going to, I like to set my timer, and I may mix it more than 2 minutes. You want to stop and you want to rake down the sides of your pan, and we'll do that. I'll be honest, sometimes I just buy a cake mix, a devil's food cake mix, and that works too. But this is a homemade. You have all of these ingredients in your kitchen. So I'm just going to stop it and raise it up and rake down the sides. You just want to make sure, and I always scrape mine on the bottom. I tell you that every time I make a cake, but I do. Sometimes it'll settle in the bottom, and you don't want that to happen. So we're just raking off our spatula. We're going to start it back mixing. I'm going to mix it for about 2 minutes, and I'll be back and we'll finish it up and put it in our cake pans. Okay, our batter has beaten for about 2 minutes, so now I'm going to add our eggs. Remember, we're using 2 eggs. And I'm going to add the remainder of our milk. I'm going to turn it back up and beat it for another 2 to 2.5 minutes. I preheated our oven to 350 degrees And after I finish beating this, I'm going to place it in my cake pans. I have lined 2 9-inch cake pans with parchment paper, and I took a paper towel and some vegetable oil and went around the edges. So this is what we'll be placing our cake batter in today. I hope you can see that. Okay, our cake batter is ready. Look at that. I'm just going to place it in our cake pans. I'm going to try to evenly divide it, and then I'll spread it out. This is really soft. I love the consistency of this cake. It's going to be so moist, so good, so delicious, so quick, so simple, so easy. You know, that is me. If I didn't know how to be simple, I couldn't exist. So now I take mine. Let me show you here how I like to do it. I like to push it toward the edge. I like to push my cake layers toward the edge of the pan, just like that. Kind of spread it out, make it even. And I'll do the other one the same way, and I'm going to pop it in the oven, bake it for about 30 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean, or it's springy to the touch in the middle, and I'll be back. Okay, our cake layers are done. You can see that they are pulling away from the sides of the pan, and they are springy in the middle. So we'll take them out, I'll let them cool, I'll take them out of the pans, and I'll get ready to make our boiled icing. I took our cake layers out of the pans, and I have them on these little cooling racks, and they turned out so pretty. So now I'm ready to put together my ingredients to make my boiled icing. I'm using 3 cups of sugar. Now I have tried to divide this recipe to make a smaller amount, and I have just not been successful, but the leftovers is delicious with fresh fruit. So I'm using 3 cups of sugar, white granulated sugar. I'm using 1 tablespoon of light corn syrup, and I sprayed this. I just gave it a little squirt of a non-stick spray, and it just comes right out. So that's a little tip for today. And then I'm adding 1 cup of boiling water, and that's all of the ingredients that we need to cook our syrup for our boiled icing. So I'm going to take this over to the stove. I'm going to cook it on medium heat, bring it to a boil, and cook it until it creates or spins a thread. A long thread is what you want, and that should be between 230 and 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Once my syrup starts boiling, I'm going to take 3 egg whites, and I'm going to beat them stiffly, and you want these egg whites to be at room temperature. When I get them beaten stiffly and my syrup is ready to pour, then I'm going to slowly pour it over the egg whites and continue beating it to the consistency that I need for it to be to spread it evenly. And then I'll add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm going to get started, and as we go along, I'll bring you back in and you can tell me how we're doing. Okay, our syrup is almost ready, and I want to talk to you about this. You can hear my mixer going, and I'm beating my egg whites, but if you're not strong enough to handle this, then do not make this recipe, because as we get older, we don't have as much strength in our arms, and this is very hot. This is not a recipe for children to make. It's just too hot, it's too dangerous, for a child to be around this. So if you're going to make it, then you need to make it when you're in the kitchen by yourself. So it's almost ready, and when it gets completely ready, then I'm going to slowly pour it over my egg whites. I'll add our vanilla, and then we'll ice our cake. Okay, our icing is ready. Look at that. It looks almost like divinity. Oh my goodness. And I have one of our cake layers here on this little turntable. I just put it on a board, a cake board today, so that I can show you how to do it. And I'm going to grab a spatula, and I put on some gloves. I know some of you are saying, well, why would you put on gloves to ice a cake? Well, you know, I just kind of get it all over me, and this will keep it from, hopefully, from getting all over me. And I should have put a little pad underneath my board, because it's going to kind of want to slide around. So I'm just smearing it around on the sides. I've got it on the top. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the sides. Look at that. And even if I get some crumbs on this one, it won't matter, because this is staying right here in my kitchen for my sweet husband. He does love himself some cake. Oh, he loves cake. He likes a piece of cake every afternoon with a cup of coffee. So I'm just spreading it around. I need to take Charlie some of this. He loves brownies. I think Charlie's 93. He's our neighbor, so I'm going to do my best to take Charlie some of this today too. So this is so quick and easy. But like I said, I was telling you over at the stove, if you have gotten weak in your hands and arms, when you go to pour the syrup over the egg whites, it's kind of heavy, so you need to be really, really careful about that. And also, I would not make this with children in the kitchen. So now I'm just taking our other layer, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, put it on top like that, put a little bit more icing. You heard me say a little bit. Looks like a lot, doesn't it? But you're going to have icing left, or frosting, whichever you want to call it. And you can just cut up some fruit and serve it with that, and it is delicious. So, so good. Now, it doesn't keep in the refrigerator, so you need to use it fresh. Look at that. This will be a hit. I'm just telling you. It will be a hit at my house. I may do this for Thanksgiving. Christmas, definitely. So let me grab a little bit more icing to just kind of go around the sides here. And we're going to be finished with this cake in no time. And I know those of you who don't bake cakes on a regular basis, or as often as I do, you're thinking, yeah, in no time. But it just takes practice, it takes patience. But I do love to bake. I love the process of baking. I don't know why I do. I love to cook too. I mean, I make different things, but my favorite thing in the kitchen is to pop something in that oven. And I did bake it 27 minutes. I baked my layers 27 minutes. And it was done. So y'all, there it is. We have a devil's food cake that we just threw everything in a bowl. We had all the ingredients in our kitchen, in our pantry. We didn't have to go to the store and buy a single thing. And there it is. Look, I am so pleased with that, and I hope Doug loves it. I'll see you back shortly. Okay, everybody, I've got my man over here, and I've got his devil's food cake ready to cut and serve. Are you looking forward to it?
I am.
Are you happy I made it?
I am, I think.
You think? So what does I think mean? Oh, I'm gonna cut him a big wedge. How about that? Oh, yum. It looks good. Look at that. Does that look good?
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite?
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a fork. He's gonna do the taste testing for us today, and I'm gonna test too. Taste test, that is. I'll cut me a small piece. You know, us ladies, we don't like to eat a lot.
That's good cake.
Say it a little bit louder.
That is good cake.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so glad you like it. I know it's going to be delicious. Thank you for joining us in my kitchen today. Thank you for helping to make this devil's food cake from scratch. And I hope you'll try it. Don't forget to share. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And I'll see you again really, really soon. He's getting with it. So that tells me that it's delicious.